welcome back. Or I should say maybe kind of like a second introduction. I do have a initial podcast episode on the Luna Revolution. But this is the first one by myself. So my name is Natalie, and I call myself the Esoteric Practitioner. Most importantly, though, to make sure everyone understands, is that I'm continuously learning. I am a forever student of what drives me to give me passion in life, right? So what I'm very passionate about is the truth. And although I might not know all the rabbit holes that we can dive into, my main jam, or my main practice, if you will, that kind of got me to go down these rabbit holes, is being a clear conduit medium. So I've been finding myself lately in conversations where people are really interested in what I'm doing. What does that mean? What are you? What do you actually do? What does it mean to be a spiritual coach? What does it mean to be a spiritual, like I tell people sometimes, depending on who it is, who I'm talking to, I explain that I assist in spiritual development. And what does that mean? Well, it can mean many things, right? And at the same time, what I like to share is that I'm going to stay authentic to who I am. I channel information. I am a clear conduit medium or some people, I would say, mystic type of thing. But these are all labels that I really struggle with identifying with. I believe I'm a part of, I'm a being that has access to so much information that we can receive through our divine wisdom. Esoteric practitioner comes in because I like to study information that a small population of individuals study. But it all began because of my innate abilities. So in the beginning, and not when I say in the beginning like of time and whatever, but in the beginning, I actually was just having I had two separate conversations today, two different people, or two different groups of people. And they were asking me, like, how did you know you had this ability? Well, the thing is that I was young, I was a child, and I would experience quite a bit. And I'm explaining all of this just to let you guys know. The reason why I'm diving into this is because some people have been asking me on my YouTube, some people just in general, I've been having these conversations, people asking me more and more. They want to get to know me. And by nature, I'm naturally introverted. I don't want a lot of people to know about my practices because I feel like they're truly sacred. They have been gifted to me and they're very precious to me. So it is a challenge for me to talk about this stuff because I want it to stay as authentic as it is. And I want people to understand that this path is not an easy path to take, right? To acknowledge and to maybe not even just acknowledge, but to acknowledge, and also to kind of trailblaze and try to get people to understand that I believe we all have these abilities. But because of the times we have lived through history, like Salem witch trials, or all sorts of stuff, I feel like we have done ourselves a disservice by shutting down these gifts and abilities. And so I like to educate people and help them to remember who they are. That was my whole thing of getting into this as being kind of like a business. I didn't know I was going to go into business. I don't even know why I keep doing this. I'm Italian. I should say I'm half Italian. I'm half Hispanic. So, like, I talk with my hands. And either way, I get into all of this because it's so vital and important to know who you are. And we can get into bigger topics of that. But I feel like I'm kind of already going all over the place. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm just like, do you know how damn hard it is to have a conversation with yourself that you're trying to structure? Like, I was just having a conversation with these 3 awesome gentlemen, and the conversation was just freaking flowing. And they're like, dude, you should be doing a podcast. And I was like, I used to have one. And then, you know, because of life, things got in the mix, and we had to like go separate ways. And then, you know, I'm here to record a conversation with myself, but I'm actually enjoying this flow with you guys that, like, I don't even know if I want to record one, because this is where it's at. It's this connection, having these deep conversations with people where it's open, it's authentic, it's genuine, right? And so I'm like, damn, I don't know if I want to have a conversation with myself, because it is so freaking hard to have like podcast conversations with yourself. It's a practice, right? It's gonna, like, for anybody out there who are doing podcasts like by themselves, not having guests on, like, dude, go you. Like, cheers. I wish, like, if I had, maybe I should have like something, but I have a little bubbly, you know. I'm like, hey, cheers to you, y'all. But gosh damn, this stuff is like so challenging. Like, if you're like me, if you're anything like me, you can overthink the hell out of it. But let's go into what stimulated the idea of recording a conversation tonight. And so I'd like to drink tea. This came from the tea bag, and it says, trust your identity. Be in touch with your reality. Majority of the people that come to work with me, they're seeking answers. Most importantly, they're seeking answers. Let's just go with that. But what are the answers, right? So I'm not going to act like I know everything, but I will tell you I'm a continual student of the divine consciousness, right? So what I channel is higher-minded consciousness. And I'm a medium, and so I give you that information. And I'm not going to go into the hows, the whys, the what, or whatever. We can, maybe if it comes up in flow. But I will say this. This is a quote. The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. The Kabbalion. Let me read that again. The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. The Kabbalion. And it's so important to understand all the complexities of that, and also the, you know, trust in your identity, right? Trust in your identity and be in touch with your reality. As a medium, and somebody who works with consciousness, you've got to hone in on this information. You've got to really do the self-study. And in my opinion, people who are doing this stuff, the stuff that I'm doing, right? So it can sound contradictory. But I ask and I question, how well do you know yourself? How well do you know what motivates you, what inspires you, what triggers you, what, you know, all of these things. You know, my background is in psychology. My background is also in behavioral health, hypnosis, hypnotherapy, Reiki, you know, channeling. And so, compiling all this information in that, somebody once told me, to do this type of work, you better know your shit. Like, you better know your shit, not like you better study this stuff and not be, what is the impostor syndrome, not that jazz, but like, you better know yourself. If you are going to be doing therapy, if you're going to be doing any type of service to humanity, you better know yourself, or else you're projecting yourself onto these people. And at the time, I was super offended, because I was just like, person, you don't know where I'm coming from. You don't know what's going on, but whatever. That was in my immaturity. But even tonight, I found myself in a conversation with somebody saying, like, do you know, like, how do you handle people taking your word so straightforward, or not straightforward, but like gospel? And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, that's the hardest part. That's the hardest freaking part, because I do my best when I'm working with people to help them to understand that I am not the person with all the answers. And in fact, what my whole thing about what I'm doing is to teach people about themselves, help them to understand them. That's my whole thing. And that's very complex, right? Because in the human experience, with all these complexities, with all these thoughts, with all these things, there's so many things that can influence us. That are we in our sovereignty, or in our wholeness, to understand why we are making such choices? And yeah, so that's why, like, in my opinion, when people ask me, like, what are your beliefs, right? Personally, I think we have been given many teachers of the embodiment of source energy. And we've been blessed with the embodiment of individuals who are here to teach us, or who have been here on this earth to teach us a way of being. Right? So those people would be examples like Buddha, Jesus Christ, even Alan Watts, Eckhart Tolle. Like, we don't have to make things so black and white. If we can step outside of the identity of the person, what they represent to us, who they are a representation of to us, right? If we can step outside of that and just frickin' listen. I mean, for goodness sake, like, look up Mark Passio. I mean, that guy is a badass, in my opinion. And I've only watched one thing of his, and I'm like, holy shit, he gets it, right? Mark Passio, I remember, said, you might not like me when I'm speaking to you. You might not like anything about me, but I'm not asking you to like me. I'm asking you to listen to the content. And when people work with me, that's exactly what it is. I'm like, of course we're human beings. We wanna be accepted, right? We have a deep, innate need to belong. But in my experience, in my journey, that has been the, like, last thing my intuition has told me, in a sense. I've had very painful experiences where I tried to be a part of something, and I was completely, like, repelled, or said, like, no, you're too much. You ask too many questions. You are, you're not fitting in this mold. I've had to have the most painful experience of accepting that I guess I just got to do me. And then I'm finding people who are having a very similar experience where they're lone wolfing it because of their radical ideas. Now, radical being that they might not fit in the mold of Christianity. They might not fit into the mold of Buddhism or any other like Hermetic philosophy or whatever, right? Gnosticism, like they might not fit those molds because they accept the all and everything. They accept the possibility of all of this. And so I have had the painful experience of accepting that I'm not going to fit in with everybody. And yet at the same time, I can learn to respect who you are and where you're coming from and what you are, because I have the understanding that we are a combination of our ancestral history. So to give you a little bit about me, I am half Italian. So I come from a family of immigration. My grandfather was literally a born citizen of Italy, came here on the boat and met my grandmother, and immigration. My grandmother was first generation American, but her mother born in Italy. So I have a family of immigrants, part of my ancestry, right? The other part of my ancestry is when Arizona was Mexico, my family were Mexicans. And down the lineage, we have indigenous in our blood. So part of it is Yaqui. So you wouldn't be able to tell from the way I look that I have indigenous, perhaps Mexican, and Italian in me. Some people get really like, oh, I can see this, I can see that, whatever. But what I'm getting at is I'm heavily Americanized, so I will say that down the lines, my family on both sides lost their native tongue because of the educational system, because of all of the systemic BS. So I speak Spanglish. I speak the cuss words in my Italian, sense. So like I can get down with that jam, but the other stuff, whatever. But I will say, as I've done this self-study, I recognize what I align with and what I don't, what I'm a part of and what I'm not, right? So we want to sometimes take it to philosophies of living, but sometimes we don't even consider the other aspects of what has created us, right? So we don't even think about our ancestors, and sometimes that's all we think about is that, and we don't think about cosmically the generations of where it all began, right? So like this is such a complex human experience. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is a human experience. We are here to experience consciousness in physical form. I'm getting pretty passionate, can you hear? Like my energy has shifted. I can tell because I'm like, woo! This is my passion. So I have found myself in conversations lately of people expanding their mind. And that is the time that we're in. We are in a new world where people are opening up more and more to possibility. It really irks me when people, and when I say that, like I've been a part of it. So for those haters out there that like hate the Natalie wagon, and they'll say, well, you used to do this shit too. You're like, damn right, dude, I was an immature person. So when I put the blame game, it's because I was immature. But when people blame other stuff and lack self-accountability and self-knowledge for what's triggering or what's stimulating or what's whatever, and they lack all of that, that was the old world. And I already got off topic, so I'm like trying to wrangle myself in. I'm looking at my like bullet points that I kind of want to make sure that I go over. So I'm like, woo, all over the place. Yeah, so like I feel like, and I shouldn't say feel like, I have this deep understanding that we've been given clues over time to the secrets of the secret teachings. Oh my God, the secret teachings of all ages, like the best book ever. And we have also been heavily distracted to know ourselves because of pleasures and of things that stop us from growing as a person, because we get sucked into pleasure. And so we get instant gratification. We get all of this stuff. And I'm really going all over the place in circles. So I apologize for y'all. I'm just like, I'm super passionate about this stuff. And I'm like, let's talk about it all. But yeah, today I found myself in conversations where people were really willing to have deep, profound conversations with me about what I do. And that is so odd to me. But the times that we're in, people are starting to get a little bit more courageous, get a little bit more accepting. Maybe because they've been so heavily polarized in beliefs and organized religious belief systems that they're like, there's more. That was my story. When I was younger, people couldn't answer the questions as to why I was seeing ghosts, as to why I was seeing faces of statues moving, as to why I would audibly hear somebody in the room speaking to me, as to why I could see so many things. Like, the religion failed me. The school system failed me in many ways. A lot of things failed me, and so I had to dig in. I don't know how many of you have had that experience, but I sure as hell did. And I know a lot of people who have. And so we're finding ourselves now in a conversation where people are opening up. And that's amazing. And also, I encourage you to keep going, to know yourself, to not go down rabbit holes that can get you lost in like the, oh shit. Because that's what I had this conversation with this group of gentlemen, where they're like, sometimes I don't want to go certain things, but they just kept asking and asking. I'm like, yeah, these are my thoughts. This is my perceptions. This is what I've seen. This is what I've learned, and you have access to this too. When people ask me, what do you channel? Who do you channel? Do you channel alien? Do you channel whatever? Well, what I've discovered about myself is that I am designed energetically, intuitively, naturally, blessed with Hermetic philosophy. That is my channel, is I channel the all. I channel the all in everything. And I couldn't piece that together without study, and I don't mean study like studying the Kabbalion. It was self-study, and wherever I went, I was getting answers. I wasn't reading books, and I've said that on Ryan Gable's Secret Teachings podcast, where I don't read books, which I do. I read Audible books, so I get it audibly. I also read books, here. But it was the path of seeking truth through other people's perceptions of reality and understanding things, and then diving in deep into meditation. And I'm like, all right, I want to know this stuff, because I'm not getting answers from a lot of things, and I want to channel. And I didn't say I want to channel. I remember going deep, and I'm just saying, okay, God, use me to be of service to your divine will. And that changed the trajectory of my path. And I don't even know if I had a choice in that. I kind of feel like it was like, and I just had this conversation last night with somebody about the chicken or the egg, like which came first, and how they both actually came at the same time. So I don't know whether it was the thought of me kind of surrendering to my path because the subtle worlds just kept getting louder and louder and more boisterous, and just I was seeing much more things, experiencing much more things? Was it me that actually intuitively was just like, okay, I give up, God, I am yours, we are one, and I'm doing this jam with you? You know, I don't know if it was that, or if I had the thought first and then like my path just completely changed. I don't know. Nor do I give a damn. It's taken me to this point of true fulfillment, of to understand where I came from. Whoops. Well, that was just I thought I put that on pause, whatever, doesn't matter. My cell phone might be ringing here and there. Who cares? But in any case, my whole passion behind the work that I do is to teach people to have the courage to face yourself, to know thyself, to trust your identity and be in touch with what you see about this world. Like, understand this. Do your perceptions of reality actually align in reality, and how does that match up? Do we know this complexity? So it's a lot of thinking, a lot of diving in, but ultimately that's the passion behind what I do. It's not to be like the clown show where people come to me to like do the circus act and be like, I have the crystal ball and whatever. Like, a lot of people actually still have that belief. It's hilarious, where they say like, I didn't know if I wanted to come to you because I didn't know if I was going to see this cliche person with the crystal ball and whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm a normal person. A lot of people don't want to dive in hard. They're not ready for that stuff. Some people absolutely know that. I just had a conversation yesterday with somebody that said, I'm not ready to do the big dive because I know like it's going to change my reality. Some people are like, just like right now, going in, having huge conversations with strangers, right? So I meet people where you're at, because there is no point in me benefiting from like any of this, really. Like, if you go into this type of business to like make something, like have like you're in the wrong business unless you're a scam artist, and then like whatever. But I'm just doing this because I deeply want to help people see themselves and how they're contributing to the chaos or to life itself in general. That's why my favorite song is Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. If you want to make the world a better place, is that what he says? Take a look at yourself and then make a change, yeah, right? Be the change, right? And one of my like good songs that I love too. I love so much music. Music is amazing. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that right now. But, you know, music, a lot of people have been telling us about the human suffering through their music. And now we're actually starting to see music change its tone, reprogramming people to like help them understand they can get through their traumas, they can get through their stuff. So yeah, I wanted to have a deeper conversation to kind of show you guys where I'm at with things. Like, I'm not here to, I'm here to be authentically me, because I know who I am. And I know it's the profound fulfillment that comes with knowing yourself. And people are more and more wanting to seek out answers to understand their purpose. I mean, that's been the question of like ages, right? They want to know their purpose. I can help you with that. I can help you understand that. You know, again, though, a big thing is that I truly believe that people innately are gifted with the ability to tap into their psychic abilities. Or are they, like, to me, it was just part of us that got watered down, that got dumbed down because, well, we don't need to get into that conversation, but I think some of you know where I was going to go with that. But I will say it's not an easy path. For those of you who are seeking to develop their spiritual gifts, their spiritual development in general. Actually, I should say spiritual development, is just having a sense of faith in a way, something to believe in. But on the other end, for those of you who are wanting to trust in themselves more, that's my goal, is to teach you how to trust in yourself more. And so it is intuitive development. It is psychic development. But I will say, get right with yourself if you really want to go down that path. Because, yeah, we can get the surface level of stuff, but you really want to dive deep and to know this work at a very intimate level. For me, my experience was wrangling in Mustangs. I had to wrangle it all in because I deal with, the empath. I deal with telepathy. I deal with clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyance. I deal with all of it. That's why I'm called a clear conduit medium. So it can be a lot. A lot of people ask me just today, several people are like, damn, that sounds like you go through a lot. Some people don't realize like how tough this stuff is. And so if you are looking for that, there are layers and levels to it. It's kind of like getting a tattoo. When you get one, you get kind of like, oh, I got the itch for more. So you want to know more, you want to know more, you want to know more. So you can go at your own pace with me. But at the end of the day, I'm also here to learn from you. I'm a student. In this lifetime, I'm also a teacher. Just how I believe in you all. You guys are teachers and students. So this is just me having a genuine conversation, apparently with myself right now, because I'm just talking to a fucking video. Oops, excuse me, cussed in a bigger way. But if you identify as a light worker, I question you to ask yourself, are you just dealing with the light side? Because I have an argument for that. Like, if you're just dealing with only the light, then you're out of balance. That's where I kind of resonate with, I don't even know Buddhist philosophy completely because I don't study it a lot. I study, again, the psychic world. But from my understanding, is you walk the middle path. Somebody actually said it to me once, an old friend of mine that we're no longer on each other's path, but I want to say thank you for this. Because he was like, you sound like a chaotic occultist, like they were, or they are. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, because it sounds like you pull from multiple things. I was like, yeah, but it's more like philosophy of being and existing versus like magic and all of this stuff. Like, I do more philosophy and existence and consciousness. And so I understand the heavy side, not rituals, not all of the left-hand path stuff. I don't deal with that. I know a great person that does. You can go to their shop, but you can reach out to me to know more about that. Or you can deal with the philosophy side of things and deal with emotions and consciousness, and that's what I do. So I deal with the light and the heavy side of consciousness, right? So in that sense, I can identify as a light worker because I deal with dark and I deal with the light. But I don't stay in one area. I mean, my friends can tell you that they're like, gosh, damn, Natalie, like, we're always on a damn roller coaster with you. And it's because I deal with so many people constantly that I'm like constantly transmuting thoughts, emotions, all of this stuff. And so for those of my friends that have stuck with me and are loyal to me, I love you. Thanks for being on this roller coaster ride with me. But if none of this is making sense, just remember what I said before. The lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. So for those of you who are understanding where I'm coming from, you get it, right? You're not alone. And that is one of the things that on this path, when you're awakening spiritually, you're seeing the contradictions, the hypocrisy in the world within people. But I ask you, are you seeing it within yourself? Because in my belief, this experience is a hologram. It's a reflection of who we are, or what we're ready to get rid of, right? So if you're anything like me, it's exhausting out there. And also, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just remember what you're connected to. You're connected to so much more. You just got to dive in and face yourself. You got to face a lot of things. Got to have courage. Got to have strength, which I know a lot of people do. They've just been taught otherwise. So it's like breaking us down to build us up again. And we're a lot more connected than we want to admit. A lot of people, because of ego, belief systems, because people will die for their beliefs. That's why I personally can't identify with any belief system other than that we are a part of a bigger picture. We are a part of the all. And that's why I think that we have been gifted and blessed with multiple teachers, Gandhi, the Egyptians, we've been gifted with so many things that we can pull from to understand the bigger picture. But what is it in Hermetic philosophy is, there are only half-truths. Not everything is a truth. Like, there's only half-truths. I don't remember the exact quote because, for those of you who have said, like, well, I thought you channel that stuff. Well, I don't channel, like, direct quotes. I channel philosophy. Can you tell, like, I'm preempting, like, Haterades? Haterade, H2O. Just kidding. I don't know where I'm going with that. So yeah, just trust in your identity. Get in touch with your reality. Remember who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you have somebody here that is willing to assist you on that path. Some people say that I scare the hell out of them. And I laugh at that because I'm like, why? I'm human. And I'm no more powerful than you are. You're just as powerful as I am. We're all very capable. But you have to know yourself and what you're here to work with. So yeah, I work with astrology. I work with multiple things. That's another reason why I call myself the Esoteric Practitioner, because I've applied myself to studies of esoteric study. Yeah. I think I've got my point across, y'all. So I'm going to end it on this note. I wish you all the best on your journey, wherever this conversation with myself finds you. You can reach me at sacredpathtransitions.com. You can email me at sacredpathtransitions@gmail.com. You can book with me through my website. I'm on Instagram at symbol Esoteric Practitioner, and on YouTube, Esoteric Practitioner. And it's just me being here, being a genuine seeker of truth, continual student of divine consciousness, assisting you on your journey, helping you transmute our demons into angels, shifting all of this, understanding it, making sense of it. And for those of you, again, who are on the path of the psychic abilities and all of that, who receive downloads and are struggling to make sense of things, I can help you there too. It's a wild ride out there to wrangle in these bigger pieces of us. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this solo conversation, and yeah, until next time, until I get that wild hair and I'm like, I found something I need to talk about, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, and if you have things that you want me to address, feel free to email me, reach out, and I'll talk about it in a bigger way. So take care, everybody. Bye. Oh, shit.